Welcome, everybody, to a special Wednesday night edition of MLB Celebration on Driving to the Top Productions. I'm your host tonight, Jamie Malloy, and we're going to have some fun talking everything baseball and talking about Angel Hernandez retiring and other topics that are going on in today's MLB world as of tonight. But first, let's bring on the man who honestly, without him, this podcast wouldn't happen. He's the engine to Driving to the Top Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Adam McNally. Hey, Adam, how you doing?
No. I always want to hit the cheer button whenever you bring me on, James. Act like we're in front of a live audience, you know? But how you doing tonight, buddy?
I can't complain. My Yankees don't play until later, so I'm playing. So I figured right now is a good time to talk about this baseball and everything.
Well, very excited about. I have Juan Soto on my team, so he's been all right so far.
You better have Juan Soto on your team. Dang it!
Yeah, I had the other guy, but we'll talk about that whenever we bring our next guest in. We're gonna be talking Dodger Blue here eventually.
Yes, folks, he's a big Dodgers fan. He happens to live in the state of California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm well, Jamie. How are you doing? Hey, there we go, guys. That's more like it. I got the cheer. Adam didn't get it. I like that. I'm doing well, Jamie. How you doing?
Good. As you just mentioned backstage, the Dodgers hit a home run and they're up on the Mets right now, 3-0 in the second game of a doubleheader. Yep. You have to be excited. It is Joe's got to be rolling over right now after the first game. If Joe was sorry, Joe. You know I love you, buddy.
Yep, we both love you, Joe. Yeah, Jamie, I was excited to see the result of that end of that first game of that doubleheader. What excited me more, and actually what surprised me a lot more, was when Chris Taylor yanked down a bunt for a sacrifice, man, for the squeeze. That led to the eventual tying run there, and the Dodgers, of course, won it in extra innings. My head shook like a bobblehead doll. I'm like, this is not Dodgers analytical baseball. These guys don't bunt. These guys don't squeeze. These guys don't sacrifice.
You still got to have it, even in an era of home runs and everything. Small ball still works in late innings.
Which is why I loved it, Jamie. That is baseball the way it was supposed to be played. None of this analytical bullshit. None of this swinging for the fences. No launch angle, no exit velocity. That was called good fundamental baseball laid down by, ironically, the worst hitter on the team right now, and Chris Taylor, who's not even batting 100 this season. So
that actually small ball is technically that is part of analytics now, if you can think about it.
Would have fooled me with the way these guys are swinging for the fences nowadays. And I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But, yeah, it was still refreshing nonetheless, especially to see a team like the Dodgers do it because, like I said, at least with their team, they don't employ small ball tactics anymore. They're all about hitting for power, hitting for average. I wish they would learn how to do it with runners in scoring position.
It's like it's the same thing with the Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan. I get excited when the Yankees do it now because they've always been the same way, home runs.
Right, exactly.
They got that lovely short portion right field. Who wouldn't be going for home runs, James?
Right, exactly.
That was designed at the old Yankee Stadium too, not just the new one.
Well, they had to keep it the same, right?
Well, yeah, just obviously making a newer version of it. But
since we're talking about the Yankees, I guess the guy that retired would never make bad calls against the Yankees, huh?
Angel Hernandez.
Being a pitcher for the Yankees and all.
Yeah. I got to tell you, what surprised me the most about the Angel Hernandez call yesterday was the timing of it. Because in the statement released by both him and his agent, they say that this was planned out before, that there was no hidden agenda here, stuff like that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Angel and his agent's explanations are a lot worse than his strike zone. I'm not buying it. Here's the reason why. Number one, the timing of the whole thing. He announces right now, the last week of May, that he's just all of a sudden going to up and retire.
It's because he's sick. That's why, medical reasons.
Oh, well, okay. I hope the guy's okay. I don't hope he keels over and dies. The point being is that I
said that on someone's Twitter page. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm glad he retired.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder if there was a little backdoor agreement here between MLB and the umpires union to finally find a way to get him out. Just because, like you mentioned, Adam, he's the worst umpire in the game. I hate to trample on a man's grave, but
I think Lance Lynn was the only one to be tossed twice by him in the spring training. Did you catch that one? Anyone catch that?
Yep, I did.
He tossed it on the mound. I don't know what he did. I didn't. I tried to find that out. I didn't see anything, and then he went to the bullpen to finish the session, and he got tossed in there too.
Well, and not only that, Adam, but spring training this year, if you recall, I think he had tossed Bryce Harper in the first inning of a spring training game because Bryce was fit to be tied with his strike zone. So Angel in the first inning, Angel said, "Enough, you're out of here." So not just Lance Lynn, but
not the first time he tossed him.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right.
On the other hand, that was a really bad call that Hernandez called on Bryce Harper, and didn't break anywhere near like this far, let alone this far. I mean, they barely moved.
Right. Exactly.
Strike three.
Yeah, and and again, I don't want to trample on a man's grave, but I think Major League Baseball overall, as an officiated sport, will be a lot better without Angel Hernandez. Now they need to find out what to do with C.B. Buckner and John Tempane. But aside from those two jokers, bye-bye, Angel. Strike three, you're out, buddy.
CB Buckner's another guy. He's been around since forever.
Since the 90s. Yeah, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's the one who threw out Gary Sheffield in a Sunday night game against the Mets in 2005. I remember that game.
Yeah. And again, the whole thing with Angel, guys, it's not that he got trounced. We're not surprised. It's just the timing of it. The fact that it happened here with just a third of the season underway, or completed, I should say, that was the whole surprising thing, was just the timing of it. I mean, if this was announced back in the end of August or beginning of September, it might be a little bit different. But that it came so early in the season so far, it just have people, again, scratching their heads, wondering what else happened here besides Angel being a lousy umpire. What precipitated this right now? Why now? Why not last season? Why not the season before? Why not the season before that? So,
why not the 90s when it all started with throw from left field, and the Braves the guy clearly looked out when Piazza tagged him.
Yep.
That was a horrible call.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
a game-winning run. I don't know. Jay, I know you might have remembered that. I don't remember the names, but I get sick and tired of seeing Braves get called safe at the home plate there.
Yep. No, I remember that. In fact, he had called one of the Dodgers games earlier this season, and I think it was not Chris Taylor. Who was it? Might have been Mookie. I think it was Mookie Betts who attempted to check his swing, and in the replay, you could clearly tell that the barrel of the bat didn't even cross his hip line. And Angel called him out on strike three for checking his swing. And again, the replay showed that the barrel of the bat came nowhere close to coming all the way around past home plate. And I mean, I was watching the game and I was pissing and ranting and cussing at my TV, and my wife could hear me the whole time. I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me. Are you shitting me? So yeah, just
I think the Kyle Schwarber, after he got thrown out, was the best.
Oh yes, most
started
definitely.
Showing the outside the plate, calling it a strike, up high, calling it a strike,
right,
left to right, down low,
right.
And then when he pointed the middle, and he was like, no strike at all called.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's big news, and it will affect MLB, hopefully for the better. And I'm kind of hoping too that if he really was let go because of his performance behind the plate, that hopefully this is kind of a wake-up call to MLB and to the umpires union, is just to say, okay, look, we're sick and tired of all of this back and forth, all of these ridiculous strike zone calls that aren't strikes, and same thing with balls too. So hopefully
that's why they're thinking about implementing an ABS system in 2026.
Well, I got to tell you, Jamie, I don't like the ABS system, but I can't argue with it at this point, given the fact that Angel's not the only one. Like I mentioned a couple of others. CB Buckner is infamous for a lousy strike zone. John Tim Payne's strike zone is about as funny as Evening at the Improv. And then Lance Barksdale, or not Lance Barksdale, but somebody else, one of the newer umpires is having kind of a difficult time calling balls and strikes too. So Angel's not the only culprit. He's just the worst culprit out of a select few there.
How about when Steve McMichael called him out from upstairs?
Yeah, right. I mean, the guy can see him way up there. Come on, what does that tell you?
Trying to remember some of the stuff, you know. Jamie, did he do any good for a pitcher for you guys? I know he pitched for the Yankees, but I didn't know I bothered to check out his stats.
No, but it would have been interesting to see what happened if he argued with Aaron Boone. It wouldn't have surprised me if that happened.
I didn't understand this one too. I was looking over some of these awful calls, and clearly, I mean, the Indians obviously, 2013 when Rosales hit that ball off of Chris Perez, it clearly hit above the yellow line, and the one called it a double. Who was the coach in 13 for the A's at that time? Was it
2013 might have been Bob Guerin, if I'm not too much mistaken.
Melvick?
No, Bob Guerin. Let me check.
Let
me check.
Bob Melvin.
Was it Bob Melvin? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Melvin succeeded Bob Guerin. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
And then they went and they looked at it behind, and they ended up calling it a double, even though everyone saw it clearly hit above the yellow line, and that should have been a home run.
Yep.
I mean, how do you blow these calls?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Adam, because I obviously, like everyone else, I've watched a number of broadcasts where Angel Hernandez was calling balls and strikes, and sometimes some broadcasters would, especially color analysts, they would use not really an excuse but an explanation of, well, it's how the umpire interprets the strike zone, which is correct. Every umpire interprets the strike zone differently based on what he sees, based on what he knows. But it's like all these missed calls that Angel was responsible for, that's beyond interpreting the strike zone. That's simply put, not knowing the strike zone at all. And that's also when you look at the calls, the pitches that he would call for strikes that weren't, and the pitches that he would call balls that weren't, clearly with the naked eye, among the novice, among the average fan like you and me and Jamie, we can clearly tell that there are strikes. So why didn't Angel Hernandez interpret that? What version of the game, as far as the rules are concerned, did he learn that nobody else did? And that always befuddled me, because his interpretation was not about interpreting the strike zone. It was about taking your best fucking guess. And you could clearly tell, because he was consistent throughout his entire umpiring career. He never adjusted, never changed, never looked at reviews and said, okay, I got to do better here and do better here. It was consistently poor every single season. And every year he got rated the lowest among all active MLB umpires for his strike zone percentage, for his balls and strikes call percentage, always at the very bottom of all the umpires every year. If there was incremental improvement in his calls of balls and strikes, that would be one thing. But that there wasn't, and it would just flatline and got worse from there. It just lets me know, Adam, the guy just simply was incompetent. He just didn't know what to do and how to do it and how to interpret it.
I just can't believe how bad of an umpire this guy was. Because you never knew. Like, you never knew what kind of game you were going to get. Who was going to get tossed. It was hard.
Yep.
Did he... I know he wasn't the umpire that made the call against what was that, the Detroit guy that was going for the no-hitter?
Oh, that was Jim Joyce.
That was awful too.
Yeah, but the difference with Jim Joyce, was that he made the wrong call, and if you recall, a few days later, he had a little tearjerker of a moment where he said, I messed up. I realized it. I looked at the film afterwards, realized I made the wrong call. I apologized to Armando Galarraga, who lost that perfect game, by the way. That did little to help out the overall effect because, again, like I mentioned, he lost the perfect game. But at least Jim Joyce, who was actually a really good umpire, that one call kind of hurt his image there a little bit. But at least Joyce realized that he made a mistake. Whereas with Angel, he never did. I don't know. I'm sorry?
There's no backing out of Angel. He doesn't apologize for shit.
No, you're right. He doesn't. I also remember a couple of years back, he was actually threatening a lawsuit against Major League Baseball when rumors were coming around about him possibly being trounced. He tossed around the idea of filing a civil discrimination lawsuit against him. And I was just like, Angel, don't go there, buddy. Don't go there. That's not what this is about. This is about you being bad at your job. It's not about you being Cuban. It's about you being bad at your job, dude.
I'm surprised he kept his job that long.
Yeah, I was too. I really was because, and I think a lot of that was due to the umpires union, to be honest with you, because the umpires union is just as powerful as the MLB players union to some respect. I think they did their best to protect him for a long time. But again, I think even they had to admit leading up to this that, okay, they were already beating a dog when it was dead on the street. So they probably, and I'm not saying that's what happened because obviously we don't know all the facts and how everything unfolded here. But I do think as far as previous performance is concerned, maybe the umpires union protected him there as much as they could and until one thing led to another, I guess. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know, Jimmy. What's your 2 cents, man?
I totally agree with you, Jason. That lawsuit he tried to file for quote unquote racial discrimination, it wasn't racial discrimination. It was because he obviously wasn't doing a good job.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see who they replace him with, if they do replace him at all. I don't know if umpires are required. I mean, we know how many are supposed to be calling a game on any given day, but I don't know if there's a maximum number of umpires that have to be employed by the union and by the league. So that'll be interesting to see if they replace him at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was. I'm not sure.
Yep, I'm not either, but I mean, still very interesting. And again, just the timing of the whole thing is, to me, what makes it the most interesting. And I would really like to know, again, what precipitated this, and then why now? So you're right, Adam. Why now? Why not 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Why now? Why did it take this long for this to finally happen?
So if you go on USA Today, they have the worst calls by Angel Hernandez.
All right, I'll check it out. Hold on.
They're kind of funny. Anyway. Oh, shit.
There we go.
Which one is it?
It is, scroll down here.
USA Today, Angel Hernandez retiring.
When you talk about strikes, are you looking at it now?
I thought I had it. I don't. Sorry.
You scroll down to watch him call 3 awful calls against Langford by Michael Beer. Talk about like umpire. You just mentioned that umpires have their own possible strike zone.
Yeah.
If you scroll down, I don't know if I can call it up on here or not. But I mean, they were just awful calls, just awful. There were 3 outside pitches, and they weren't even close. But that goes back to you. That goes back to you saying that umpires have their own strike zone.
I'm watching the one where he's called strike 3 on Kyle Schwarber, and he threw him out.
Yeah, watch. That's the head of the YouTube channel today. that picture. Is that the one? Are you looking at the one whenever he's like up high, to the left, to the right? James,
What?
have you watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole 22 seconds of it.
Whenever he points to the left of the plate, the right of the plate, down low on the plate, and the up high. Or didn't you find that one yet?
Yeah.
Didn't you find the full clip whenever he does that?
You missed it. Inside, outside, up and down. Yep, I watched that.
Yeah. He's the worst at seeing bats go flying. He is the worst. Hey, there's another one right there. Anyway, do we all agree that this might be one of the worst umpires?
Here we go. Bryce Harper. Yep. Over and over again.
Leo, Jake from State Farm. You did it, buddy. Or you suggest?
Yeah, we can unilaterally agree that he's not just one of the worst umpires, Adam. He's probably the worst umpire in the history of the game, without a doubt.
Oh man. All right, boys. While you're typing, type in what the MLB did today.
Oh, you're talking about integrating the records from the Negro Leagues into Major League Baseball.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that was a big story. I saw that too.
And Josh Gibson might now be the greatest player ever.
Well, they would have an argument for that. I guess the only thing that concerns me about this story, Adam, is that depending on who you talk to, records in the Negro Leagues were never accurately kept, just simply because of the time they played, the era they played in, and the fact that scorekeeping back then for them wasn't as precise as it was for Major League players before the game became integrated. So it's like, are the stats and the numbers, which I'm for. I love this decision. I think this is a great decision. But how do we know that all of the stats that are going to be incorporated from the Negro Leagues into Major League Baseball's history books, A, are going to be accurate, B, are going to be fair, and C, who's going to contest them because of that? And that'll be interesting to see if that happens.
Well, Hugh Duffy from 1894 used to be the league leader in a season for something. I forget. Maybe it was batting average or on base percentage or something. No, batting average at 447 or something.
Yep. And then let's see here.
He has now dropped to third behind Josh Gibson and Chloe. Nancy Chloe or something.
Yep. Let's see here.
Now is Satchel Paige going to become the greatest pitcher
ever? Potentially, maybe. Let's see here. I was like, God, these ads are just bugging the hell out of me.
I got his jersey right here.
And that's a nice jersey. That is nice.
Satchel Paige.
Get out of this. All these ads. Jesus.
Sorry, Jay. I'm not showing off the Mantle jersey. It's right.
No, you're all good.
It's Charlie back there in that corner behind the Beaver jersey.
Nice. Let's see here. Hugh Duffy dropped the third fellow Negro League star. Charlie Chino Smith is now second with his .451 batting average and 29 for the New York Lincoln Giants. Josh Gibson's .974 slugging percentage and 37 shatters Bonds' .863 mark in 2001. Bonds dropped from first to fifth with Mule Suttles at .877 for a slugging percentage. Gibson .871 and 43, and then Smith at .870 in 1929 ahead of him. So Bonds would automatically drop there. Let's see. Gibson would also move into third place in the all-time single-season on-base percentage category with 564 and 43 behind Bonds' 609 and 04. Gibson's OPS of 1.474. Holy crap. In 37 and 1.435 and 43 now ranks as the top 2 single-season marks ahead of Bonds' 1.421 in 2004. Jeez.
Yeah, no, all of a sudden we got to rewrite all history again.
And that's why I think there's going to be a little bit of, not at first, but I think there eventually will be some backlash about this from some of the, not the loyalists, I don't want to say, but basically, I think there might be some backlash maybe from some players who are currently in the Hall that are still surviving. I don't know.
I'm just hoping it's both color races that do this and not just one, because all they're going to say is the R word.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, I don't know. I never followed that league that close. Obviously, we had the Homestead Grays, and
Right.
I looked there. They have the big mansion at PNC Park and everything else. I have nothing against these guys at all, but I didn't. Like you said earlier, Jay, how good were the stats capped?
Exactly. And that's always been debated among the top baseball historians from around, is that the Negro League stats were never accurately kept and archived the way that Major League Baseball stats have been. So, again, we don't know if these numbers, while I believe them, could either be lower, they could be higher. We just don't know. We're just taking them for face value because that's what's been there. And then also, what about the guys who did integrate into MLB? Jackie Robinson, Monty Irvin, Larry Doby, guys like Roy Campanella. And Minnie Minoso, how are their stats from the Negro Leagues going to translate into what they did in the major leagues? Are they going to be judged now separately in 2 different categories and 2 different stats in 2 different leagues? So, I mean, how is that going to factor into it too? Are they going to try and create another? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how they handle that too. And same thing for Satchel Paige too, Adam, because his stats in the Negro Leagues were more impressive than the majors because obviously he didn't play as long in the majors. But how are they going to justify or not justify, but how are they going to judge his major league stats versus his Negro League stats? Are they going to try and combine everything? I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds there.
Yeah, this could rewrite all of baseball history that we know it.
Yep, most definitely.
Because we've always just had this, and this as separate categories.
Right, exactly. And then like some other guys here who were Titans in the Negro Leagues as well, who were really big. Guys like Oscar Charleston, Turkey Stearns, who's in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, I might add. Charleston, Turkey Stearns, Buck Leonard, Mule Suttles. Let's see who else on here. Dave Brown, earned run average 2.24, ranks currently 8th. So, and this also potentially could open the door for a lot of other Negro League players who haven't been enshrined in Cooperstown yet to get that honor, because to the best of my knowledge, Oscar Charleston isn't in the MLB Hall of Fame. I think he might be, but I'd have to go back and double check that. Turkey Stearns is in there. He was nominated or voted in way back in the late 90s, I think, early 2000s. Buck Leonard is in there.
Too, right? He's
So,
already in, right?
I'm sorry?
Gibson's already in there too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gibson got in the Hall of Fame in the 80s.
I just thought you were reading all of them. That's why I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to get.
Oh, no.
But I thought he was in.
Yeah, Gibson got in a long time ago. Are you talking Josh or Bob Gibson?
What's that?
Are you talking Josh Gibson or Bob Gibson?
Josh.
Oh, Josh. Yeah, Josh Gibson's in the Hall of Fame.
Josh Gibson is now the all-time leader in career batting average based of Wednesday's integration, beating out Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth, too.
Wow.
Josh Gibson's is officially 372 if you incorporate that. Oh, Dylan.
Yeah, but
hey, Dylan, how's it going?
Yo, fellas.
think you should change your name to Best Ball.
What? Does somebody want me to do 190 best ball drafts?
I just can't believe you're in that many drafts, Dylan. That's crazy.
Are you going to include G League, Dylan, or no?
No.
Okay. I was just kidding.
Dylan, just a quick recap. We're on the Negro League intrigued into the MLB stats and how they're counting. That's where we're at right now.
Is this about Josh Gibson, I'm guessing?
Yeah, now he's the all-time leading batting average of 372 ahead of Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth now because of that.
Well, it's not really just about Josh Gibson, Dylan. It's about everyone, all the Negro League players, all the guys that excelled in that league for so many years. Now their stats are just going to be incorporated with the other Major League Baseball players' stats. So we were just debating about how this is going to affect the stats of the current guys who are not only Hall of Famers, but who aren't even Hall of Famers. But, I mean, how this will change everything insofar as who we determine who the greatest players are. And also I brought up the fact too, a good point, that Negro League stats have always been debated because baseball historians agree mutually that Negro League stats were never kept as accurately as Major League stats were before integration, which is true. So while we want to believe these numbers, we also, I think, might question them too, just because of the fact that stat keeping back then for their league was so porous.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and some of these guys like Satchel Paige didn't come to the big leagues until he was late in his career. Jackie Robinson or Roy Campanella. I mean, who knows what some of these guys would have done if they played a full career in the big leagues? Almost like Ichiro Suzuki, his first 7 year is missing 6 or 7 years in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't think they'll do a world stage, do you?
I'm sorry, what?
You don't think they'll start integrating the whole world, do you?
No, I don't see how they can, because I mean, baseball is played much differently around other parts of the world than it is here, and the guys that play it elsewhere around the world, they're not affiliated with Major League I mean, a lot of the Japanese guys are, obviously, but I don't see, and the Korean players too, I don't see why they would. I mean, I guess they could. Adam, you're right. They technically could if they wanted to, but I think the main reason they did this, though, is because for so many years we've heard the argument that, well, a lot of these Negro League players were better than the Major League players before integration. And this argument has been around for a long time. It's predated us for at least 50 or 60 years. So they obviously just finally said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Let's give these guys the true honor that they deserve here.
Well, then if that were the case, I mean, if we put in Japan players, then would the Sato then would maybe be the home run king with 868?
That's right. Sadaharu. Oh, you're exactly right there, Dylan. So you're right. I mean, if they start integrating stats from the Japanese leagues, from the KBO and Korea, then we're just going to have one big muddled mess. And then it's going to be like, what the hell are we doing here, man? What's going on?
Right? Because we're talking about how they go into mixed stats from one league to the other whenever they transfer.
Yep.
I mean, you look at some of the Japanese guys, like you just said, they've already transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the battle has already started on this, actually.
Yep.
I don't know if that's good. I don't know. Is there even a place to look for stats on the league?
Probably
all I'm seeing is just the topic. I'm not seeing like where to find stats. Oh, hold on. Seam heads. Apparently, seamheads.com has all the statistics.
Okay.
And it needs printed out because I cannot make any of this stuff. You got to zoom all the way in.
I had a question. What would Babe Ruth's defensive run saves have been in his day?
Good question. Good question.
Would that have been measured in wool or hamburgers?
Probably
And
hot dogs and Dr. Peppers, I would think.
Okay. So you're telling me Josh Gibson, out of 3,889 plate appearances, only had 14 intentional walks, 32 strikeouts.
Well, again, that's where
and 8 hit by pitches.
Yeah, I think again that's where the stats come into question. And you're right, Adam. It's like, seriously, a guy like that got hit only 8 times in his entire career? Yeah, I don't think so.
And that more surprising stat is 32 strikeouts.
Yep.
I mean, some of these guys didn't even strike out at all, apparently. And this is where the stats go. And this is where people looking at the stats have to go, wait a minute. One guy never even attempted to steal a base, but had 15 stolen bases and didn't get caught once. Ed Steele.
I just think it means that the players now, they're going to have to rewrite what was rewritten there.
Well, what do you mean by that, Jamie? Rewrite what was rewritten? Are you talking about rewriting major league stats that have already been cataloged?
No, I'm saying today's they're going to have to rewrite their own chapters that were cataloged in the Negro leagues now.
Oh, okay.
Raymond.
But I don't know. It feels like it's playing with fire. I feel like these players, it feels like it's playing with fire a little bit now.
Huh.
All right, so Ramon Bragania played 27 to 45, third base.
Baseball purists, though, already know what Jackie Robinson did in the MLB. So, I mean, there's really not going to be any difference there. It's the other guys we're worried about.
Yeah, I think this ruling applies more to just the guys that that never played in MLB. So the guys whose careers had already ended pre-segregation, and even some of the guys that didn't get into MLB until later, like Satchel Paige, for example,
or Hank Aaron.
Adam, what were you saying?
Oh, Bragania, third baseman, did end up striking out 264 times. Something like that. 227 times. That is the lead. That is the most strikeouts by any player that top list.
Jeez.
And it's just from 1886 to 1948. I think O'Neal Cruz is on his way to break that record right now this year. But he is hitting some bombs, and when he hits them, they go.
Yes, they do.
But it's just wild. Like, it goes 229, 223, and then the next number, Jay, 190.
Seriously. God dang. 190?
And then it goes to 156. These records cannot be right.
And see, there you go, Adam. That's why I say the legitimacy of the records has always been in question, because you're right. You look at those numbers there and you say to yourself, there's no way, even in the era in which these guys played, that these numbers can be completely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
These are hard to see, though. Jeez.
Oscar Charleston played from 1915, okay, to 1941.
Yep.
1,587 games.
Yep. And let's see, he had 6,809 plate appearances, 5,820 at-bats of those plate appearances, 1,394 runs scored, 2,036 hits, 378 doubles, 143 triples. What?
35 strikeouts in 30 years.
Yeah, no way. I mean, despite the batting average of 350, yeah, I don't think so. Hit by pitches, Adam. He was hit by pitches 44 times. He was intentionally walked 4 times. Let's see. Yeah, 35 strikeouts, 774 walks. He was caught stealing 3 times. Okay. So, interesting.
368 stolen bases, caught 3 times.
Well, and then,
Come
like,
on.
I'm
There's
looking
no
here
way.
on this list, I'm also looking at number 22 here, Bullet Joe Rogan. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Bullet Joe Rogan is actually in the Hall of Fame. But, like, for example, here, he played 1916 to 1938. He played
Wait,
center
hold
field.
on. You must hold on.
I'm looking at batting statistics right now. All right, forget
What are you
Bullet
looking up? Were you looking up games played?
Joe. Yeah, correct.
Yes, I am looking at my phone. I just want everyone to know I'm looking down because I'm curious to see the stats. This is all new to me here. I mean, this is all new probably to everyone that just learning about this. Like I learned about it on my drive home.
Yep. Sam Jethro, Manny Minoso, Marty Dihigo. He's in baseball's Hall of Fame.
Some of these guys played one game. Jay, did you see that?
Yep.
Hit games played again.
Yep. Very interesting. Willie Bobo, Ed Mayweather, Goose. A lot of these guys. Cool Papa Bell. Cool Papa Bell's in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I was just looking at that.
So while we're looking,
Just to let you know, this Bell dude was never picked off either. So he's 348 for 348 in stolen base.
interesting.
With 53 strikeouts. That doesn't make any sense. 56 strikeouts and 6,747 plate appearances.
Well, how many
Yeah.
strikeouts did Joe DiMaggio have in his career? He basically had like the same amount of strikeouts as home runs, right?
Well, here, let's pull up Joe D's stats here real quickly. You're talking about career, right, Dylan?
Yep.
Hold on. All right, so let's see. Let's go into baseballreference.com here. Jody's career stats, career strikeouts. According to baseballreference.com, Joe DiMaggio had, let's see, stolen bases, home runs, hits, WAR. Seriously, they're not going to give his career strikeouts here. All right, I got to go through the line one at a time here. All right, let's see. Strikeouts. All right, according to baseballreference.com, Joe DiMaggio over a 13-year career had amassed 369 career strikeouts.
And how many home runs?
Home runs. He amassed a total of 361 career home runs.
How many?
361. 361 home runs for his career. RBIs career, he had 1,537 runs batted in.
Wait, he was married to Marilyn Monroe?
He was. Yep.
That's why he was considered the luckiest man alive.
Yep, exactly. And then
No,
you see it.
I think Lou Gehrig was, but that's just me.
As far as RBIs are concerned, 1,537 career RBIs. Let's see here.
Yeah, but Dylan, any man who was in a relationship with her back then, you got to be freaking lucky.
That would.
I'm sorry, some of these stats just don't add up.
Nope, they don't.
Hey, just ask how lucky JFK was.
You know, while we're looking through all these stats here, Jamie, what do you think about the injury to Ronald Acuna Jr.? How do you think that's going to shape the landscape of the NL East there, buddy?
It's definitely going to hurt the Braves. I think it's going to help the Phillies. The Mets are in a whole different world right now. They forgot how to play baseball right now, so I don't know if that's going to help them too much.
Right there, son.
But
because the last time this guy went on the shelf for a year, as I recall, I remember watching Freddie Freeman put the final ball in his back pocket as they celebrated the World Series.
But who's Freddie Freeman with now? The Dodgers.
Okay, well, that's with the Dodgers, but I'm talking about when he was with the Braves and Ronald Acuna Jr. was on the shelf.
Right, but they don't. I don't think they have a Freddie Freeman type this year, though.
Matt Olson.
Matt Olson.
Freeman actually hasn't even hit until the day we hit the 3-run bomb in Queens. But to be honest with you, I don't think Acuna's injury affects the Braves one bit. The Braves have to hit better. I mean, like the Braves hitters have not hit anywhere like last year. Olson, Murphy, Riley, Harris, Albies have not hit this year. Acuna was barely league average offensively.
The only people that are on your worst enemy is yourself. You're your squad's own worst enemy until otherwise. That's what.
And you know what? The last 2 years, the Braves have won the NL East and lost to the Phillies in the playoffs. So you know what the Braves may do this year? We're not going to win the NL East, but we'll beat the Phillies in October.
I guess.
Well, I don't think that's going to prevent their GM Alex Anthopoulos from going out and trying to get somebody to replace Acuna, at least in the short term anyway. One guy I can think of off the top of my head is Tommy Pham. I know he's on the White Sox right now, but Pham is tradable. I could see them possibly swinging a deal for him. And look, one thing about Alex Anthopoulos is he has the World Series championship to prove just how good of a mid-season general manager he is. I think he's going to find somebody to plug into Acuna's spot in the short term. And given the fact that what?
Harris will play center.
I'm sorry, who?
They'll put Harris at center.
Oh, yeah, they probably will. I can see Harris going to center.
They did tonight and batting leadoff.
Yeah, but Dylan brought up some good other points, though, on the fact that the Braves have other problems aside from Acuna's injury. Like he said, Olson hasn't been hitting well until recently. Albies has not had the typical Aussie Albies season. So offensively, they do have some other issues that they have to iron out here, aside from Acuna's injury. So, Dylan, you're right about that. They have other problems to deal with, too.
Josh Gibson only had 240 home runs.
So, guys, I do like 150 best ball drafts, and I thought it'd be fun if I showed you the strategy of how I do one draft. Because I know Adam, you do drafts from time to time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one soon. Dylan, I am gonna invite you on whenever me and Rich were talking about doing one live. So I will invite you on since you do them.
I don't want all three of us feeling
maybe we can all hit join at the same time and get into the same room.
I don't want all three of us in the same draft. No,
I think it'd be fun.
I don't want you stealing my players.
I don't want you stealing mine either, but that's the whole point of doing these best balls.
Besides,
I think we got different directions on these anyway.
Like, what's your strategy?
I go after guys I want at first, kind of play with the best available in the middle, and then towards the end, I know who I like at the bottom of the line.
Like, do you go wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end early?
I go quarterback. Jay, you got anything else? Bud? Hold on, I just read your memo. I got your memo.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I have to jet out of here a little bit earlier than anticipated. So sorry I have to duck out. But just kind of recapping what we talked about earlier. Angel Hernandez, adios. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Negro League stats. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, to see what kind of reaction they get, both positive and negative. And Acuna injury for the Braves. Keep an eye out. I don't think Alex Anthopoulos is going to sit back and throw it in. I think he'll be aggressive at the deadline or before it, fill up his hole in the short term and see what happens. So that's pretty much all I have for right now.
While we're talking about the Braves, anyone feel that Chris Sale is found his groove again?
Yes. Yeah, Dylan and I agree on.
And it's not just because Chris Sale and I went to the same school as me.
Okay. That's good.
I promise you, Chris Sale and I went to FGCU.
That's awesome.
Met him a couple times for his event here, and his head coach has said Chris Sale's the best bleeping player in FGCU history.
Well, definitely, Boston people got to be scratching their heads. Like, why couldn't he pitch like this for us?
Yeah, because everybody in Boston is damaged goods. I mean, I don't know what it is, but everybody with the Red Sox is hurt. Well, and a few other teams. Jason, your team's. Half your pitching staff's hurt.
Half our pitching staff has been decimated, but yet they still found a way to have, up until recently, aside from this losing streak, the best overall team ERA in Major League Baseball. And their bullpen, surprisingly, had the best ERA coming into last week at 1.90 in all of baseball before their losing streak kind of affected them a little bit. So you're right, Dylan. It's like 1 + 1 doesn't add up to 2 in some situations. But even with the Dodgers, I got to admit, my team, we still got some problems. I mean, our 6 through 9 hitters are absolutely horrible. We have no depth on the bench. When we get these injured relievers back, Joe Kelly among them, we still don't know how effective they're going to be. I still don't like the way Dave Roberts manages a bullpen. Never been a great bullpen manager. But we got other problems on this team right now that Andrew Friedman is going to have to figure out. So, and I knew this was going to happen. I didn't expect the Dodgers to go 162 or 161-10 this season. I knew it was going to be a tough road for them. And also, for what this is worth, guys, this little slump that they're in coincided when Max Muncy went on the injured list with an oblique strain, which, by the way, Dave Roberts backtracked on the severity of the injury like he always does. The Dodgers are the best organization in baseball at bullshitting the severity of their injury reports. When Muncy originally went down with his oblique strain, Doc said, nah, he'll be out the minimum 15 days. I think we caught it early. He'll be good. Well, 3 days ago, he backtracked and said, okay, it's going to be a little bit longer than anticipated. I have never known a player with an oblique strain that has recovered within the minimum 15 days to be an effective hitter. Oblique strain injuries are at the very most a 3-month injury, 2 months to recover, 1 month to get back in the lineup. And in some cases, you don't fully recover pre-injury because you're trying to get your timing back. You're trying to get your swing back. You're trying to get back into the feel of things. So I don't expect Muncy back anytime soon. So yeah, Dodgers, lots of problems, but I'm done. I said I got to go, which I do. I'm sorry, guys. My bad.
Jason, anytime, buddy. Can't wait to see you get your show going. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we're going to get your show really rolling here soon.
Yes, and I know I've been kicking the heels on that a
I'm
little
going to set
bit.
you two up in a conversation and see if we can work something out.
Please do. I'll be looking forward to it. And Adam, thank you for your help with that. I greatly appreciate it. Dylan, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay, sorry. I saw your hand up there. My bad. It was a pleasure talking ball with you guys again tonight. Jamie, always fun. Dylan, always fun. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
You got it, Jason.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Take care. God bless.
Yeah.
Jamie, I have Bill questions.
What?
Do you feel that this getting rid of Diggs is going to help Josh Allen out and be a number one quarterback where he's not pressured into just finding one guy?
Yeah, because now and basically Joe Brady said the offense it's Josh Allen's offense, and they're going to tailor it around his strengths. And I like Keon Coleman and his presence so far.
I'll tell you what, I think the Bills are. Everybody's saying the Bills aren't going to be great. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs trained Tyreek Hill and won two Super Bowls. Josh Allen's really good. Dalton Kincaid's really good. Keon Coleman looks like he could be really good. James Cook was a really effective running back.
I traded James Cook. Jamie, you might beat me up.
Oh no. By the way, Adam, my live draft last night, I went first 3 picks. I went Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, Deebo Samuel.
Wow, I'm surprised Deebo was there in the third still.
The thing is with the Bills is, like I said, their core's still coming back, but it's mixed in with new guys. That's what it is. But their core's still coming back, which is which is a good thing.
Well, I mean, you better
be a number 1 or number 2.
Hmm?
Shakir going to be a 2 or 1?
Probably a 2 because I think they want Coleman to be the 1.
They're going to line Samuel up in the slot.
Probably.
Curtis Samuel, yeah, exactly. They're a speed guy like that. They could use him as a gadget player too.
So go ahead, Dylan. Shoot off your team from last night.
I'm trying to think on the top of my head. Jared Goff, James Cook. I don't know who my other running back was. Amon-Ra, Deebo. I went Detroit, San Francisco because the Lions and Niners played Week 17. I went heavy tight end early, getting Laporta and George Kittle. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to go heavy tight end this year. Because if you don't get one of the top 4 or 5 tight ends, Travis Kelce, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, or Sam Laporta, I feel like you're at a disadvantage this year.
Where do you guys put Powers up in your fantasy line?
Say it again. Oh, Bowles?
Yeah. I call him Powers. I think it's funny.
Are we talking dynasty or redraft?
Let's go dynasty. Jamie,
Val,
you do any by chance? Are you in any dynasty leagues, any fantasy leagues? Do you do DFS?
I feel like I've said this before. I've done fantasy leagues, but not dynasty leagues.
I think
Do one
Val.
amongst our group. Do we see if we had to do one amongst our group and do another sleeper league?
If we did like a I don't know, if we did like a company fantasy league, I'd be in
That's
for
what
that.
I mean. That's what I mean. The crew.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I know, Dylan. I know I'm going to invite you on. I don't know if me and we're going to do one tomorrow night or not because he was busy today. But if we do one tomorrow night, I will definitely invite you on and see if we can all get in the same room. I'd love it. I'd love to be in a $1 billion moneymaker with you three. Why not? Why not? It'd be fun.
I actually did a draft with two guys stream, and they were saying how like I drafted like a Bengals stack in Jamal Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, and now I'm like, oh no, the Bengal receivers all holding out for more money. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, that's the key. Like, where do you go? Do you go running back heavy? Do you go?
I go wide. I usually try and get 5 wide receivers, a top quarterback, and at least 1, if not 2 tight ends first 10 rounds.
I'm not afraid to go 3 just in case one gets hurt and try and get a backup.
What if you got Josh Allen and let's just say Justin Herbert? You don't need a third one then.
You never know. That third one could be a steal. I mean, I don't know. I really didn't look it over this year yet, but I don't know. I don't like. I don't really go in with a strategy, but I know I try to go follow some kind of flow. Just kind of let it go. Like I said, I made it to week 16, my first time doing it. And one more week, I would have been in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been trying to get a lot of Jalen Warren this year.
Why not? Thunder and lightning, baby.
You definitely want to take Jalen Ward, especially with the way Steelers still want to run the rock there. So
You definitely want to get Pat Freiermuth because Arthur Smith loves tight ends.
The number 2 tight end.
I'm just saying, Arthur Smith, our new head coordinator or offense coordinator,
Oh,
he
is he?
loves tight ends,
former Falcons head coach.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts. But Jane, what you got going on your show tomorrow?
What do I got? I got more how the Yankees are doing great. I don't want to hurt Joe's feelings too much about what's going on with the Mets because that's a whirlwind right now of craziness. And we're going to be talking Paul Skeens again too.
Yeah, Paul Skeens will be talking about on my show as well. After your show tomorrow night, Rich just told me we're going live tomorrow night. I will have possibly another co-host joining us tomorrow night. Been talking to this person for a little bit to join us, and they're gonna maybe step in tomorrow. We were gonna do it last week, but she wound up getting tickets to a game, so I wasn't. I can't be mad if someone got tickets to a baseball game. Dylan, what you got going on? You got anything else going on?
Yeah, I hosted a Champions League show today. I think I've got UFC 302. I've got a NASCAR show that I'm a guest on a Miami Dolphin podcast tomorrow. So my voice is going to be
Thirsty Dolphins.
Yeah.
with
I'm
Brian.
gonna be on a Dolphin podcast tomorrow.
Right, are you going on with Brian?
No, it's one of
Rob, I
my
mean, Rob.
Dolphin fans. It's one of my Dolphin friends.
Gotcha. No. Fins up, baby.
Oh God, now you sound like my friend.
Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright, the future of this team. Oh man. Anything else tonight, boys? A little
I
over an
think
hour.
we're good.
By the way, I think the Pirates play a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, they do. I just saw their game was postponed.
We got rained out tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they put one early, one like they've been doing, or did they put them back to back? I didn't see that yet. I didn't look, in other words.
Let's take a look. Game 1 will be at 12:40. And game 2 is to be decided, and Paul Skeens is pitching in game 2.
I think Skeens picked tomorrow then.
You got Jones pitching game 1.
I mean, Skeens pitches the nightcap, right?
Yeah, game 2, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then you're going north at the border.
What?
And then you're going north of the border.
To play Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's been a big disappointment this year. I'm surprised.
The Blue Jays can't hit for some reason.
Wait, no, but where's freaking why I wonder why Superman Vlad's been struggling.
Chris Bass has been their best pitcher.
Yeah, they can't hit. Vlad all of a sudden can't hit either.
Well, the lineup, I feel like their lineup has changed so much they don't have time to get in the rhythm. Seems like every day that lineup is just changed back and forth.
Yeah, that means that means they're gonna probably be sellers at the deadline if this keeps up.
I mean, they have a pretty good lineup.
Yeah,
George
they do.
Springer be a nice addition to Atlanta Braves to fill in for Acuna.
And Ernie Clement, and as I mentioned, Ernie Clement too.
But
who got called up from Buffalo last year and made the opening day roster this year.
So, Dylan, do you want to, if me and Rich do one tomorrow night, you want me to message you?
Yep.
You think we should wrap this up now, you think?
That's what I was
Yep.
trying to get at the game. I was letting you finish the hosting job.
Okay. So anyway, thank you very much for listening tonight, folks, on Driving to the Top Productions. You can find me, yours truly, at DJ Dogcast, which is my handle right there.
Save you for last.
What?
Shouldn't you save you for last?
Yeah.
Dylan, how people get you?
Yeah.
At Dylan S Sports One, Big B Podcast, Funky Spectrum Sports, and probably everywhere except 3 o'clock in the morning, fellas. That's usually my bedtime.
Adam, what about you?
You can find me on my Driving to the Top Twitter page a lot lately. I'm sure you guys have noticed. I've been resigning from there instead of at Sports Talking at my other page. Just trying to get the YouTube channel views and get it some subscribers. That's what I've been doing lately. So you can get me there or there. Like and subscribe, obviously, to all our channels. Yeah, tomorrow night I have Pirates with Rich, and if me and Rich do our best ball, you will see Dylan tomorrow night. I will send him the invite. That's what we got going on for tomorrow. And Jamie, wrap it up, buddy.
Yep. And then you can find me, yours truly, at DJ Dog Tags, and also at Bill's Chat One, at Bill's Mafia Chat on X. And then you can find me here on Driving to the Top Productions. And then you can also find me on at theforkball.com, where I write sports stories for all different sports. And like Adam said, don't forget to please like and subscribe to our channel at Driving to the Top Productions, and even our Twitter page. And don't forget, guys, to tune in tomorrow to YouTube, Driving to the Top Production, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you get your podcast, to listen to the Subway Conversation show tomorrow with me and Joe Dalio, as I'm the Yankees fan. He's a Mets fan, and we pick our brains and talk about everything going on, Yankees, Mets, and everything in the world in baseball. So thank you. And once again, please don't forget to subscribe. We really appreciate you guys listening to Driving to the Top Productions.